Upon reading the rude note, Justine van den Born initially attempted to brush off its impact. However, unable to withstand its hurtful contents any further, she decided to take action. Justine photographed the note and penned an open letter addressed to the individual responsible for leaving it on her car windshield. "On the day you saw me, I was having a good day. I was walking with my daughter unaided, having a nice day. Thank you for ruining that." What caused Justine's profound dismay that day? We've witnessed numerous instances of poorly parked cars or vehicles occupying disabled parking spots incorrectly. However, the situation became even more distressing when we observed individuals parking in spots designated for the disabled. This presented an opportune moment to advocate for justice on behalf of the disabled community. The message left on Justine's windshield was intended to impart a lesson. However, rather than educating the intended recipient, the author of the note may have inadvertently learned a more profound lesson themselves. For Justine, walking was a cherished but challenging activity that she faced with determination. She derived immense joy from spending time with her family and friends, as well as attending significant events. Yet, the looming specter of her condition and its potential future impact cast a shadow over her thoughts. While out shopping at the Mitcham Shopping Centre in Melbourne, Australia, Justine encountered a piece of paper on her car's windshield. Initially, she speculated that it might be a note left due to a minor accident. However, upon reading its contents, her emotions surged, her mood darkened, and her sense of indignation grew. Ms. van den Born, 47, lives in Melbourne, Australia, with her husband and 2 kids. She had no idea that on the day she took that photo and posted it online, her story would immediately make her famous. The post with the note Justine saw on her windshield is from 2015, and she said that she was truly overwhelmed by the response. Unfortunately, 5 years on, this is clearly still an issue. Here's what was wrong with the note. When she was 35, Justine was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, a condition in which the immune system attacks its nerve fibers in the brain and spinal cord. The disease leads to complications such as muscle spasms, paralysis in legs, mental changes, and other symptoms. Fortunately for Justine, she was still walking. Before you ruin another person's day, remember, you don't know everything, and just because you can't see it, it doesn't mean a person isn't struggling to put one foot in front of the other. Justine's post went viral, and the message she shared has not only inspired others suffering from MS, but has also educated a lot of people who were not aware of this condition's symptoms. That day, Justine and her daughter went shopping. People suffering from MS get a disabled person's parking permit, and Justine had it in the window, so she parked her car close to the entrance and went about her day. The note said, "Did you forget your wheelchair?" We all know it's rude to park in spots for disabled persons, but it's wrong to assume they're faking it just because they're not in a wheelchair. Justine wrote a letter to the person who left her the note. She hoped they would read it. In the letter, she told them she was diagnosed with a serious illness called multiple sclerosis when she was 35. This illness stays forever and makes her life harder every day. She explained how her life changed since she found out about her illness, and how her kids have to deal with things that kids shouldn't have to. Justine also talked about how she was having a nice day with her daughter until she saw the note. It made her feel bad, like people were judging her for not being able to walk properly. She said she's tired of people like them being mean to her, especially when she's using something she has a right to use. Then she said something that made us feel emotional. She said having a disability doesn't always mean needing a wheelchair, but she might need one someday. Right now, she's focused on being able to walk into her best friend's wedding next September without needing help. She'll be 42 years old then. Fortunately for Justine, 5 years have passed and she is still walking. However, she taught everyone a few life lessons. First, Justine taught us that you've got to be strong and believe in yourself, even though the odds are against you. Then she taught us this. I'll say it again, just because you can't see it, it doesn't mean a person isn't struggling to put one foot in front of the other. And yes, I did walk into my best friend's wedding. In an interview with The Age, Justine talked about living with MS. She said people often assume she's doing something wrong because of her age, but in reality, she struggles to do simple things like carrying groceries and walking long distances. She also mentioned having bladder problems like an older person. In another interview with The Independent, Liz Sayce, who is the CEO of Disability Rights UK, agreed that there's a lot of suspicion towards people with hidden disabilities. She asked us to imagine having a heart disease or MS and only being able to walk short distances, but still being treated like a fraud when parking in a disabled spot. She said that out of 11 million disabled people in the UK, only 1.2 million use wheelchairs, showing that not all disabilities are visible. She believes we should stop this prejudice. Maybe the person who left the note meant well, but they should have chosen their words better or talked to Justine in person instead of being rude. Justine's friends and family reached out to her and hoped the person who wrote the note would see their message someday. Others think the person could have asked their question in a kinder way instead of leaving a hurtful note. It's possible to ask questions respectfully without being mean. Here's another woman who went through a similar experience. Her name is Lauren Rowe, and she's an extraordinary young lady. Imagine taking breaths and feeling as if someone is pushing a pillow on your face. That's exactly how Lauren Rowe feels every day. At 30 years old, Lauren is a miracle because with her condition, the average lifespan is around 44 years, but even so, she is unstoppable. Lauren was born with cystic fibrosis and has developed diabetes and osteoporosis as years passed. The condition crippled her respiratory system, and even as she is sitting, she breathes with only 30% of her lung capacity. Taking a walk leaves her short of breath, and only a double lung transplant helped her improve her condition. That was until her body's immune system rejected the organs. So, what note did she find left on her car's windshield? Lauren was 26 when she went with her friends to a movie theater in Campbelltown in City's West. She parked her car, and after getting out, she headed to the lift. Then she saw someone looking at her. "I did see you death stare me as I walked from the car to the lift with my friend and looked the other way because tonight was the first night I have been out in a long time and was excited to go to the movies with my friends without thinking about the darkness of my reality," wrote Lauren in a message on Facebook addressed to the person who left her that message. Although this note didn't inquire about the lack of a wheelchair, the message was the same. It was as if the person was appalled that someone with a disability can look normal and smile. Here's what the note said. "It's not nice of you two to park here and leave without thinking about others. Shame on you," said the note, which was probably written after Lauren went into the elevator. Lauren mentioned that this wasn't the first time she'd been judged for using a disabled sticker. She needs it on days when she finds it hard to breathe. "For me and others with cystic fibrosis, it's a sickness you can't see, and it makes us doubt what we can do," she said. The young woman thought the person who left the note should have talked to her instead. Lauren might have explained her situation. Now that Lauren is 30, she jokes that she's getting old. "With cystic fibrosis, being 30 feels like being a senior, except I don't have saggy boots or discounts. I spend hours doing treatments just to stay alive," she said. Lauren inspires us all. She educates people about chronic illnesses on her YouTube channel, even though making videos is hard for her because of her breathing problems. Many people with chronic illnesses have permits to park in disabled spots. Victoria Teresa wrote about facing similar situations every day and ignoring them. "We need to stop judging people because not all disabilities are obvious," she said. Lauren and Justine's stories became popular after they shared them. We've learned a lot and hope it helps people understand illnesses better. Let's be kind and not judge others without knowing their story.